So this is a video of a 1998 Jeep Cherokee Sport. I wanted to give you guys a better idea of how the thing runs and drives before you perhaps call from the Craigslist ad. The Jeep is, like I said, a 98 Cherokee Sport. It has about 176,000 miles on, 177 I guess. Upgrades to it really are slight. It does have this Panasonic CD player that does XM radio, and it also does MP3s. It also has Sony speakers in it, which sound like Sony speakers. The Jeep does have remote start. You see the little antenna on the window here, and then down here we have the key fob. That's also keyless entry and the remote start. It does come with 2 keys and 2 of those remotes. The remote start does work well. Like any Sport, really, you have cruise control, pretty standard. You do have air conditioning, although in this Jeep it does not work. I'm pretty sure it just needs a compressor. It's not kicking on. A compressor is fairly inexpensive if you want to worry about it. If you don't want to worry about it, fine. I'm not going to fix that. As far as new stuff goes, this Jeep has a brand new battery. It has brand new shocks. I just did those a couple weeks ago. The brakes are fairly recent and work pretty well. I just did an oil change. Most notably about this Jeep, if you've looked at any other Cherokees, this one has absolutely no rot on it whatsoever. Check out the pictures. I took some pretty detailed pictures of the underbody and the rocker panels. There is a very little amount of surface rust on the driver's side rocker panel, but that's it. Absolutely no rot on the entire Jeep, which is extremely rare. I'm kind of a Jeep guy. This is my 14th Cherokee. This one was owned by my mother-in-law. We've had it in the family for 7 or 8 years now, I suppose, so it has been well maintained by myself during that time. Power windows and locks, power mirrors, pretty standard stuff. Windows are tinted in the back. Windows are not tinted in the front. You're not allowed to in New Hampshire. It does have vent visors all the way around, which are still permanently affixed. Cup holders, of course you have 4-wheel drive. It's the normal transfer case here, the select track, so just 4 high, 4 low, and neutral. 4-wheel drive works really well. It's idling right now. You can see the idle smooth. I'm recording and the engine's running, so you can tell that the Jeep's not loud. It doesn't need an exhaust or anything like that. Again, you can check the underbody pictures that I'll post as well. It's very clean. So, I'm going to go ahead and drive it to give you guys an idea of how she runs. So, let's go. I'll try to keep this thing steady on the speedometer so you can kind of see what's going on and no hesitation or anything like that. Okay, here we go. It runs really, really well. That noise you just heard was the jack in the trunk. You can tell this thing accelerates like the day it was born. I've always been very impressed by this Jeep. Cruising speeds, 80 miles an hour, absolutely not a problem for this thing. Feels great on the highway. Cruise control works well. Let's see, we'll get out of this residential area and I'll kind of slam on the brakes and give you an idea of how she stops. There is no anti-lock brakes in this Jeep, so I'm not going to stop perhaps as fast as I could with a vehicle that had ABS. It does have dual airbags though as far as the safety stuff goes, so an airbag there and an airbag there. Oil pressure is great. The alternator is brand new, like I said as well. You can see it's charging perfectly to 14 volts. Temperature stays right there, pretty much where it's at now, which is good for a Jeep because these things do have a tendency on occasion to overheat. This one does not, however. So pretty straight road. I'll hit about 30 and brakes. Again, those noises were the jack and things like that in the trunk. Just go ahead and start. See, the transmission shifts really, really well. Absolutely no lag. You can barely even feel this thing shifting, which is pretty awesome. Let's see. Pretty quiet Jeep. Usually these Cherokees will have squeaks and shimmies and all sorts of extremely annoying noises that require the radio to be at maximum volumes just for you to tolerate driving them. I've tightened this thing up really, really well and gotten rid of all the common squeaks, most of them which come from the rear seat. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out now. I guess before I get out, I'll show you the stereo. Works pretty well. Anyway, like I said, it works, all the speakers work, it sounds alright. So pop the hood, and we'll look at that as I'm going around. So you can see the Jeep's in really, really good shape. Outside of it's extremely clean. I just popped the hood, that's why the hood is open. I did add these fog lights up front. The fog lights are on a relay, so they operate when the low beams are operating, and they turn off when the high beams are operating. So it's literally a no-brainer. There's nothing that you guys actually need to think about to make those fog lights work. They're extremely bright. I also upgraded the headlights to the Sylvania Extra Vision lights, which just tend to light up the side of the road a lot more. So walking along the side of the Jeep, you can kind of see that, I mean, there's a little itty-bitty ding here and there. There's a couple right underneath the lock cylinder. Let me get it into the sunlight. Yep, there's a couple. Nothing excessively major, though. It's a very, very clean Jeep. Bumper's in great shape, just some minimal, scratching. It is a 98 after all, but in really good shape overall. You guys hear the exhaust. No noise at all from the exhaust. Underbody's very clean. Like I said, for a New England Jeep that's this old. Roof's in good shape. A lot of the times the clear coat comes off on these Jeeps, and the roof suffers the worst because it's the one that's directly in the sun. This has not happened to that Jeep. Moving along the front. Really not a whole lot of dings over here. I was just trying to look to see if there were any. Tires are in okay shape. I'm not going to lie to you, they're not brand new. You can see where my finger goes. But you absolutely do not need new tires on this to get a sticker. The tires will absolutely pass inspection. Front end looks good. I'll show you the one spot of rust on the body. It's right here. Pretty common spot, especially if you park on a downhill slope, a really slight one. And what happens is the water pools right here. And that's what happened to this Jeep. Again, it is not rot, so that can be sanded pretty easily and just painted with some touch-up paint. And then the only other spot of rust that I'll show you is, again, completely surface rust. There's no rot. It's right here on the rocker panel. Kind of get an idea of it right here. Sorry, my phone's not getting very bright. But the rest of the underbody is in really, really good shape. I'll pop the engine now and show you guys the engine. This could be hard to do one-handed. That's the engine, pretty standard 4-liter Jeep engine. Good shape, new air filter. Like I said, I just did the oil. I just checked all the fluids and topped everything off. Nothing's wrong with it. You can see the belts are moving freely and correctly. This side. So this battery obviously is not new. I said this Jeep will have a new battery. I'm going to buy one today. That battery is done, so I'm going to go put a brand new battery in today. It will be installed before anyone comes and looks at it. It's the AC compressor that I'm pretty sure needs to get replaced. It's completely intact, but it's just not working. You could just try to even put fluid in it. I know it's out of fluid right now, which usually denotes a leak. Let me close this thing up. So that's really it. 177 by the time you look at it, 1,000 miles. Decent tires, a lot of new parts. Goes down the road well. 4-wheel drive works awesome. Going to be looking for $1,500 or best offer on this Jeep. Absolutely perfect first car. Extremely safe. I can tell you from experience, you can hit very big things going very fast and walk away from a Jeep. Please email me or text me at the number on the Craigslist ad if you would like to come and check it out. It's near Keene, New Hampshire. The town is actually Troy. So it's about 10 or 15 minutes from Keene, maybe 35 minutes from Brattleboro, also about 40 minutes from Leominster or Peterborough. So kind of at the three corners of Mass, New Hampshire, and Vermont. That's about it. Thank you very much.